Olá, eu sou o Marcos Frank, jornalista do Headbangers News, e bati um papo com o baixista Truls Mörck da banda Graveyard, que se apresentarão no Brasil nos dias 14, 15 e 16, no Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo e Belo Horizonte, respectivamente, junto com a banda canadense Danko Jones. Falamos um pouco a respeito da expectativa de retorno para a América do Sul e sobre o álbum Six, lançado em 2023 pela Nuclear Blast Records. What has changed in the essence of Graveyard from the debut album to the release of Six?
Well, I think we put in a lot more thought behind the songs nowadays than we did on the first album. The first album was just sort of anything. We would just have so much time then, so we would just hang out a lot in the space and jam, and then we would just write a song in an afternoon and then be like, okay, that's great, and then go on to the next without really evaluating it much. So we would just go, anything would go, and then sometimes we would like hit like a really good song, like, and then sometimes we would make songs that we wasn't so good. But now more quality control came in later, you know. That's the way it should be, I guess. With the first album, we weren't even, you know, the just idea at that time, the idea of like making an album was just so foreign. It's like that was like, what, we can make an album, like, so. But we had people like trusting in us, so we just did it, and then it came out like it did.
Mm-hmm. And Graveyard had been through some lineup changes through the years. How was like the adaptation process during these lineup changes?
The what? The adaptation.
Yeah.
No. Well, when I can only speak for a few of them, but I think when I came back, it was, for me, it was kind of rough because I got thrown into touring right away. I hadn't been touring. I had been playing music the whole time from when I was a teenager, and I was 29 when I joined Graveyard again after quitting back in 2007. And I was 29, and I had been playing all along, but mostly around Sweden and Scandinavia, basically, and doing shows on the weekends and stuff like that. And then I joined Graveyard, and it was like right away we'd go on a big tour with Mastodon and Clutch in the States, and it was overwhelming for me. And but it was like a dream come true. But it was like everything happening at the same time, and I was a little lost for a while there. But I got into it, and it was working out like really good after a little bit. But then we had a new drummer in 2017, which was an old friend of mine from high school. No, like, yeah, like when we met when we were 16 or something, and we had been playing so much throughout the years. So I knew him very well, musically and personally, and so it was pretty easy actually, because and he knew the other guys also. They hadn't been playing so much, but they all knew each other from way back, and so that wasn't so hard, because being a band member is a lot about, you know, how you can hang out. Are you friends? Like, can you have a good time together while when you're not playing? And that was fine because we knew each other. And then musically, he's so good, such a good drummer. So, and a lot sharing a lot of the same influences that we do, and knew all the songs and all the records that are important to Graveyard. He knew them all, and it was pretty easy, to be honest. It takes a little while, but sometimes, like, if you haven't played for a big audience, you go up on stage in front of a, even you have played, you know, your songs and everything is fine. You played hundreds of shows before you go up on a big stage, and it's like another kind of energy, and it takes a while to adjust to that. there's a stress, like you have to like be on time, like 1 minute now, go, and there's like 1,000 people, and there's like monitors that are different from what we're used to, and it takes a little bit to get into that. But me and this drummer who came in from smaller bands got thrown into this bigger scenes, and yeah, it took a little while, but it was fine.
Hmm. And what inspired the more introspective and melancholic sound of this new album?
I'd have to say the I don't want to say the pandemic, but it was like having nothing on our schedule, nothing planned, future uncertain, quiet times, like that sort of the thoughts that would like come up to the surface after being maybe pushed to the side for a long time while we were touring so much, and then being just home and sitting and thinking about stuff, and not knowing when to go, when the next show is going to happen, or if it ever going to happen. A lot of those thoughts kind of I think influence the album, like the thoughts that come to mind when you're alone, or kind of worried. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song.
And blues has always been a strong influence to the band, but Six seems to delve even deeper into this genre. Was this like something that was this like the approach you had, like this sadness you had at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that time just sort of was kind of bluesy, and yeah, when it was such a crazy for us, especially. I think because we toured a lot, and we toured all the way until March of 2020. So we had our last show like in LA with Opeth, opening for Opeth on March the 4th, 2020. And then on the airport, like flying home from that show, we started noticing there was something going on. And at that time, we've been touring for 2 years or something, and then coming home and then having the schedule wiped clean. It was such a crash landing, such an abrupt, like boom, like, and everything was just. It takes a while to land because we were like mentally prepared to just go somewhere else. We're actually going to Russia to play music, actually, but uh, yeah, it got canceled, and yeah, so it's really strange. A 180 turn. You're going that way, and then all of a sudden, no, there's a wall. You have to go the other way, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's a crazy time.
Yeah. And is there a track on the album that you feel that perfectly represents the band's current moment?
I mean, I love the two songs I love most from that album is "Twice," which is sort of the upbeat song more, but it's like a sound that I think we can do really well, and that's a sound that we're kind of experimenting a lot with at the moment because we're writing new songs right now. But and then there's a song that really represents that time, which is the song "Rampant Fields," which I think is the most bluesy song maybe we've ever done, which is the slow, like minor key blues, and is it's Jonathan's, like, it came from Jonathan, and the guitar player, and he loves the blues, and he's great at playing it, and I love playing that song. We do it live now, and it's always like such a cool like journey to go from the very like minimal beginning of the song until the like bigger outro and all the changes in between. And
Hmm.
and yeah, so those two songs I would say is like the ones that I really think represent us now and back 2 years back as well.
Hmm. And how does the songwriting process work in Graveyard? Does someone take the lead, or is it like a collective effort?
It's a lot of times it's one person has to like an idea pretty like say like 70% worked out, and then we bring it to the rehearsal space and we try it out like with everyone, and everyone can like add or have opinions about it, and, and then you like make like mental notes, like this riff, maybe you had an idea about this little part that like didn't sound so good, like maybe I need to switch that up. It like sounded good in your head, but when we're playing it, it was like So then you go back and forth between like home where I sit or in the studio where I sit, for instance, and I write in the studio so I can record myself. And back and forth between wherever you write at home or in the studio on your own, and then you take it to the guys and we jam on it and back and forth, and then everyone adds a little bit. But a lot of times the songs come like from one person originally, and then it's like a collective thing happens, and then that person usually is the one who like finish it up in the end, like wrapping it up. And then if there's a producer involved, they also have some like input at the like last stages of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And at any point in your career, have you ever discarded a song that you later wish you had released?
Yeah, I mean, like I remember when we were working with on a piece, we had a lot of time then. Like no, we like me and the drummer, we didn't have kids at the time, so we would hang out a lot in the where we rehearse, and we would write a lot of or like try out a lot of ideas. And I remember there was a few times we hit something that was like really cool, but we like never had time to really finish it, and then we just had to like focus on these like 9 or 10 songs that was going to go on the album. So, like these 2 songs or whatever, like just had to like bye bye, and then you can go back and like try to finish it up later, but like that era, that time was like gone, or like I didn't find. We tried to record some like sketches, but I couldn't find them, so it was like gone. But you have to just write new stuff. But we have
Hmm.
there is some like there is a few songs out there on like I think Nuclear Blast released some 7-inch uh, that is like kind of hard to find, and these songs are not on streaming platforms at the moment, at least. So but that's kind of cool though. Like there's stuff out
Yeah,
there.
there was
Cool.
a collab with Lucifer, right?
Yeah, that one. It was like a one-sided thing. We did a cover of a Polish band, and there's this one. I didn't even know this existed, but we played a show in Germany, and this guy comes. He's waiting outside to get autographs, and he had a little box, almost like a thing he could that was from like official Nuclear Blast. It was a CD. I think it was the Peace album on CD, and it also came with a 7-inch vinyl with 2 songs, like bonus tracks.
Mm.
I've never seen. I knew what songs they were, but I didn't know they were released, and I had never seen this thing before. But I don't know how. Yeah, it's there was a lot happening around that time when kind of we were already out on tour, I guess, and then the label did stuff, and that I don't really remember them asking or telling me us about, and then it just happens.
And you guys are, of course, coming to Brazil like for 3 shows.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for these shows?
Well, we really hope that a lot of people will come to our show. That's like a little bit always, you're always nervous about will people show up. So I don't know what to expect, but I really hope that we can get like a good crowd in all these cities, and we're bringing like our best. Like we're really since we went on a long tour in November, and since then we've been kind of like riding a really good wave of create like inspiration. So I know that we're gonna bring our best ever like sound, and we have a great sound engineer also, a new guy we've been working with since last summer, who's like phenomenal. And he also plays in Lucifer actually, and he works with the helicopters. So we just, if you come to the show, you're gonna get the best of Graveyard for sure, and we're just hoping that people will show up.
Cool. Is there like a song that you feel should never be left out of the set list?
Well, we always play the Siren. It's like that song is just like will forever follow us, and it's fun. I really love playing it, and it's such a good like vocal performance from Joachim on that one. So, and yeah, that's a song I can never really imagine us not playing it, and
Hmm.
people love to hear it. So why not?
And after, of course, after 2 years that was the release of Six, what are the next steps for Graveyard?
Well, at the moment we're just working hard on new material. We like I'm just trying to work every day on just writing now, and we have shows coming as well. Like we're gonna do show. We have shows booked for the rest of the year around Europe, and so that's fun. But like my mind is like just on writing new stuff, and we're doing like we call it like pre-production. We just record, try to get like all the songs recorded, just like kind of sketches, but like not sketches, but just not put so much focus on the technical like sound, but just get all the songs like in good enough to for you get a feeling for the album. And then next time we're gonna like hit the studio, I want to be like super prepared and have everything like prepared as much as possible. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
just that's where my mind is at the moment.
Is there any dream or goal that the band has yet to achieve?
Japan, that's something that would be really nice. Like, that's on the bucket list for sure, going there. But yeah, I guess that's it. But
Okay, Truls.
no, but there's so much stuff we want to do. Just to keep going is like the biggest dream. To be able to keep doing this for you know the rest of our lives. That's like the dream. To be a lifer and not letting it, you know, slip away. Uh,
This is actually super important.
yeah, just holding on to like this thing we have, which is so cool.
Hold on to the dream.
Yeah.
Okay. Any message to the fans?
We'll support live music and support rock and roll. And like, I know it's hard, like, and tickets are not cheap, but you're doing like, we really, and I know sometimes, you go to a show and you can sometimes be, it's not what you expected, but I would just say, I'm just going to, like, I can promise that we're going to bring like our best to you guys. And if you come out, you're not going to be disappointed.